Magnetic name, Steve. Yeah, you all look beautiful, I'm telling you. Driving nice cars, too. I've seen them out in the parking lot. It's funny how you still think about stealing, right? Something you like. Yeah, it's always like an honor to be asked to speak anywhere in Narcotics Anonymous. To me, it means somebody sees something in you that they like about your recovery, and they think that you might be able to share it with other people. And I've got a lot out of this conference today. There's just one thing I didn't understand, and maybe somebody can help me out after the meeting. I'm not sure what boomerang booty is. So if you can set me straight on that, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, there's one thing I learned from my sponsor that, I'm not really here for you. So I don't have to entertain you. I don't have to make you laugh. I don't have to make you cry. I'm here for me. Okay, if you get something out of it, that's nice. And but it has been a nice day here. I've heard a lot of nice things here, a lot of nice speakers. Made me think of different things, like Bill in the back. When somehow I didn't really know him, but somehow he ended up in my car going to the convention up in Erie. Me, my sponsor, and Bill in the back seat, right? And I didn't know jack about Bill, but what he reminded me of is my dog in the back seat of the car, running from window to window, man, guzzling down coffee. And me and my sponsor just looked at each other in front seat and we shook our head. I said, "What do you think, Dennis?" "He ain't gonna make it." And that's always the person that makes it, right? And it was nice, man. He talked about giving back. He bought my registration here. I thought that was really nice. Thanks, Bill. You want to buy my registration to the convention? You can pick up the room too if you want. Yeah, my sponsor always says there's a room full of speakers here. We all know that, and that's true. Anybody can get up there and speak. It's been nice being here today too, because I've got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, like Nate or Too Sweet Walker, right? And Edgar from Indiana. So, I better get going here because they're going to cut me off in about 3 minutes here. I talk slow. Most of the time I can barely get out my name before they're telling me I have to stop. But anyhow, something happened last week. Well, a couple weeks. It started like a couple weeks ago. My longtime girlfriend has been raising her granddaughter, and cute little girl, 5 years old, and the baby's smart as a whip. And probably 3 weeks ago, she called me up and said Avery's mother died. She OD'd. They found her in a trailer. And so I went through that process, watching this little 5-year-old girl really suffer through this thing, going to her mother's funeral. And it was just hard for me. It hit me hard. So she has his son, the father of the baby. He was living in Indiana, and he ended up last week. He ended up having a slip and fall, and he broke his back. So he ended up in the hospital, and the last thing my girlfriend wanted was for him to come live at her house, and but he ended up there. And so she calls me up. I got a home group on Tuesday night in Pittsburgh. It's called Growing Stronger. I have 2 home groups. I have the Sunday Action Group Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And I have Growing Stronger Tuesday night at 7:30. So she says, hey, can you swing by and bring Brandon to the meeting? And it's not like a swing by. It's like out of the way. And I was like, I was hem-hawing around like, yeah, I'll do it, right? So I picked him up, and we went to the meeting. It was on a Tuesday night, and so he's talking good shit to me in the car. I got 6 months clean. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this and this, and I'm going to be a good father to Avery. So I took him home and I dropped him off. He was dead within 12 hours. Right. And my heart just broke when his mother told me that. My heart broke for her, and it broke for that little girl. And it made me think about, that's a true statement of grow up or die. And it just, I haven't been hit hard like that in a long time. It's not to say, I've known him for some years. And it's not even so much for him. You expect that the way he was living. He wasn't grown up. But that little girl is, but I'm going to tell you one thing, God put that little girl in the right hands, because my girlfriend's raising her right. And I don't know, sometimes I think that's what was supposed to happen. But now we have to go through this funeral on Tuesday, and I can hardly take it going there and watching that little girl again 3 weeks later, going to her father's funeral. It's just a tough thing. Is that recovery is important to me, and it's important for me to go to meetings. And meetings are the fence around my recovery. They really are. Then inside this fence, I have the spiritual principles. And with them, and I tend to follow the group that they talk about in our 12 steps: hope, surrender, acceptance, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness, faith, patience, and tolerance, and humility. Right, Nate? Nate always used to say, if you ain't humble, your shit will crumble. Right? And unconditional love and caring and sharing with others. That's the second perimeter to the outside of my recovery, because the disease is everywhere. It is, man. And it penetrates my little fortress I have a number of different ways. Gambling, right? It's a number of different ways it'll come in. It's, a couple weeks ago I was at the ball game. I found a wallet, man, big, fat, thick wallet, man. It was laying on the ground. I went, whoa. Right? Leaving the ball game. I did a double take, man. And, our first reaction is just snatch it up and don't let nobody see you, right? And it was good. I had other recovering addicts with me. Like, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do? They knew I was struggling with a decision, right? And I mean, right away I pulled out the cash to see how much was there. And I'm counting the cash out, and they're around me like dogs with their tongues hanging out of their mouth. Then it had his cash, then it had his gift cards in there, prepaid gift cards, and it had credit cards. And I was thinking, I can run down the concession stand right now and buy everybody nachos and popcorn. That's the way we think. I'm so diseased, right? Then it was like, do the right thing. So, then I flipped. I wanted to be on guard for this guy's wallet. And so, I'm looking for the right person to turn it into. And, when I went to give it to her, it was almost she had to pull it out of my hand. Right? And then 2 weeks later, man, I have a little beagle. And I was taking my little beagle to the dog park, and we're the only ones in the dog park. And over on this bench, there's a backpack. I was like, wonder what the hell's in there, man. I opened it up, man. Brand new, Annie went up, right? Brand new Apple computer in there. I was like, shit, now what? So, I was going to my daughter's after that, and I just gave it to my daughter. I said, you take care of this, man. If there's a reward, you keep it. I don't want anything to do with that. It's that I don't live like that. I don't live like I used to today. And, that's living life. Early on in my recovery, I heard a woman say, and this is so true for me, if I'd have died before I ever made recovery, I'd have truly never lived. And that's really true for me, that I was existing and didn't even know I was in the process of dying. I wasn't in the process of living. And once I got in recovery, the world opened up to me, the promise of freedom, right? And with that really came life. It came life. I've been in here 41 years now. I had the same sponsor for over 40 years, right? That's a long-term relationship, I'm going to tell you. If he didn't have that big-ass beard he has, I might get in bed with him. But a lot of people know my sponsor here, and he still has what I want. He knows how to live life. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He's a good grandfather. He's been a productive member of society for a long time. And he is my spiritual guide through this program. And he showed me how to navigate the world. And I'm truly grateful for that. And I've had a lot of good things happen to me in my recovery. Is that, I've seen firsthand that this is a worldwide fellowship because I've been all over the world to see it. I've followed, me and George were in Egypt last year. That was different, wasn't it, George? I don't think George will ever stay with me again. He got sick, but I got really sick over there. And, but, what we do is we get to see how this fellowship has taken hold in different cultures. And what a blessing to see this message spread throughout the world. And I too, I came in here with no education, no real skill. And I was able to go back to school uh, and get one degree after another, and I was able to make life work for me. Uh, and now I have grandchildren. What a blessing that is for an hour, right? Yeah, I can't remember keeping up with children like that. I babysit that 1 year old the other night. It was just, it took I went home, went right to bed after that. But life has been really good to me. Is that if you know my bags are packed and my shit's in order. I don't want to die. Don't get me wrong. Okay. There's still things I want to do. There's still places I want to go, and but I want to do that inside the bounds of my recovery. And I do believe, what they tell you in these programs. Lot of meetings, lot of options. Little meetings, little options. No meetings, no options. And I want to have options today. And that's all I'm going to say. Anything more would just be for me to hear myself talk to you. It's been an honor, and bless y'all. Thanks.